Hi, welcome to the Herbalife 24 Sports Nutrition Training Session. I'm Dr. Dana Ryan, and this is a 4-part training session on sports nutrition, Herbalife 24, and anything and everything you need to know about living a healthy, active lifestyle. So this 4-part series is going to cover the basics of nutrition, which we'll talk about today, pre-workout, during workout, and post-workout. But it's really important to set the foundation. So today what we're going to talk about is really understanding what a protein is, what a carbohydrate is, how that relates to sports nutrition, and how sports nutrition really is for anyone. So just as a quick introduction to myself, I have been with Herbalife for about 4 years, and my role as Director of Sport Performance and Education is to work with all of our sponsored teams and athletes around the world. I know a lot of you see our athletes and they're wearing our name on their jerseys, and you wonder, cool, but do they use the product? Are they really products of the product? And my role with the company, besides doing these sports nutrition trainings, is working with these athletes and establishing authentic relationships so that when you see these athletes, when you meet them at events or on the street, you know that they're truly products of the product and they love the product, and we work with them hand in hand, just like you work with all of your clients and all of your customers to help them improve their performance through nutrition. But to be able to do that, to be able to work with these amazing athletes, to be able to give you guys the best products possible, we have to have an incredible team of scientists behind us. So I'm sure a lot of you recognize a lot of the faces that you see on the screen right now. And this is the incredible team that I'm fortunate enough to work with on a daily basis. And our job is really to make sure that everything that we push out, every product that comes to you, is backed in science. So you're going to hear this a lot over the next 4-part training session, is the importance of having things that are backed by science, the importance of products that are developed based in science, because for all of us, that's what keeps us up at night, because we know, especially in the nutrition space these days, it's so critical to have high quality, good products for you. The problem is we have a real issue. The map that you're seeing on the screen right now, this represents populations and percentages of populations of people that are overweight and obese. You can see the closer the colors get to red, the higher the rates of that population that are overweight and obese. The United States and Mexico, we typically lead the way every year. So we know that we have a problem. We see this map and we realize the population is not getting healthier, right? Our kids are not getting healthier. Our kids are becoming more and more overweight at younger ages. And while that's incredibly depressing on one end, on the other end, it represents a huge opportunity. And in my opinion, there's no better time to be part of Herbalife Nutrition. There's no better time to be part of a company and a culture that's really focused on improving people's nutrition and improving physical activity. But if we're gonna set out, if we're gonna change this map, if we're gonna make a big impact on our population, we have to have a roadmap. And at Herbalife Nutrition, we have what's called the Herbalife Nutrition philosophy. And this philosophy starts with balance. And this is something that you're going to hear a lot from me. It's not just about eating right. It's not just about exercising, but it's having a balance between the two. And when you look at what's on your screen right now, we see physical activity, we see nutrition, but what's really important to me is this third component, this component of personalization, because everyone that's trying to lose weight or build muscle or lose fat or whatever their goals are, they're on a personal journey. And in today's society, we're so quick to buy things online or order things and never really meet anybody, or go into a store and there's no real interaction. You pick something off a shelf and you leave. But when it comes to changing lifestyles, when it comes to living a healthy, active lifestyle, it's truly a journey. And having someone support you on that journey and make it a personalized process, it's huge, and it really, really is going to make a large impact on your ability to help someone set their goals and achieve the goals that they're looking for. So we'll talk in this first section about kind of the basics of nutrition, because so often when we talk about sports nutrition, people think that it's this kind of crazy, magical, very complicated thing, but the reality is that it's grounded in the principles of good quality nutrition. So we started talking about balance between physical activity and nutrition, but we also have to talk about balance within nutrition itself. As part of the Herbalife Nutrition philosophy, we say 40% of your calories should be from carbohydrates, 30% from fat, and 30 from protein. So we'll spend a little bit more time talking about carbohydrates and proteins because they're really important in terms of sports nutrition. But what's important to note is, I know sometimes you hear these numbers, 40%, 30, 30. It's a little bit complicated, but what it really means is balance. So every time you eat, you want to have a balanced plate that's got some good quality protein, some good quality carbohydrates, and a little bit of healthy fat. And ideally, there should be a variety of colors on your plate. So if your whole plate is yellow, you're not getting as many nutrients or a variety of nutrients as you possibly can. So aim for different fruits and vegetables in different colors, some good protein, and some good quality carbohydrates. And we'll talk about what those sources are in a second. But the first thing I want you to think about and ask yourself is, what is a protein? We throw this word around a lot. We have a lot of products that are primarily focused in protein, and so it's so important to really understand what a protein is. In today's world, everyone's got a phone in their pocket. They can Google things, everyone looks stuff up, and everyone kind of knows, or they think they know, things about nutrition. But the problem is that there's so much bad information out there. So it's really important that we take some time, understand the basics, because you're going to be asked questions about what a protein is or different types of protein. And so it's really crucial to understand kind of on a basic level what a protein is. So the way I like to think about it is thinking about a puzzle, right? So a puzzle is comprised of lots of different pieces. And when you put these different pieces together, you get a different image. So you might have a bunch of pieces, you put them together and you get a puzzle that looks like an ocean, okay? Or maybe you put different pieces together and the picture looks like a mountain, okay? Proteins are the same way. So those puzzle pieces are what we call amino acids. You can put those amino acids together in different ways to get different types of proteins. So you might rearrange your amino acids in a way that you get a dairy protein, or there might be a different combination of amino acids that's going to give you a soy protein. But ultimately, every protein is just a combination of these amino acids put together just like you would a puzzle to get that final picture. And then what happens is you consume that protein, so maybe it's a piece of meat, piece of fish, whatever it may be, soy protein, and when you eat it, it gets broken back down into those puzzle pieces, broken back down into those amino acids. It enters your body and enters your muscles. And we'll talk in the fourth part of this series about why that's so important for recovery and building muscle in the long term. So hopefully it's kind of a little bit of a straightforward way to look at what a protein is. But what I really want you to remember is specifically about those puzzle pieces, about those amino acids. So there's 21 of them, and 9 of which are called essential amino acids. So that's a number really important for you to remember, is 9 essential amino acids. And what that means is that those are amino acids that your body cannot make. You have to consume them through food. So you have to consume them through either dairy protein, a variety of plant protein, meat protein. The most important thing is that you're consuming them every single day. Now, how much protein do you need? Okay, so a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna eat all my protein at night, or I don't need protein at all. But the reality is that every single person needs good quality protein every single day. So, I think often we think about protein for that, young guy or girl going to the gym, trying to build muscle. But my challenge to you watching this, and I'm going to challenge you several times throughout this series, is to kind of think different about maybe some of the common myths or stereotypes that you might have about sports nutrition or protein in general. Because the reality is that every single person needs protein every single day. Okay, sure, for that guy going to the gym, wanting to build muscle, it's essential. But think about an older adult, right? We have an aging population. And one of the realities of aging, whether we like it or not, is that you lose muscle mass. And it's just a fact of life, is as you get older, muscle mass decreases. And the problem is when you lose muscle mass, especially in your core as well as in your lower body, so especially as you age, consuming adequate protein and helping protect some of that muscle mass, protecting your body, is really, really important. So might be a young guy going to the gym, young girl going to the gym trying to build muscle, might be an older adult trying to preserve muscle and build muscle as well, or maybe you're trying to lose weight. Okay, protein's really critical for that person as well, because protein compared to carbohydrates actually helps you feel full for a longer period of time. So if you're struggling with, snacking throughout the day or eating too much, having a high protein snack is actually going to help you feel full longer and help you reduce those cravings for those sugary sweet snacks throughout the day that add to a lot of unnecessary calories. But again, back to this idea of balance. It's not just about having protein at night, it's not just about having protein in the morning, but what we know is that it's so important to space your protein out throughout the day. So a concept we call protein pacing. You want to make sure with breakfast you have good quality protein, maybe a high protein 10-20 gram protein snack in the middle of the day, followed by lunch, maybe an afternoon snack, and then again at dinner having some good quality protein. Because our body actually doesn't store those amino acids, so those puzzle pieces that we were talking about, but our body constantly needs them to repair the damage to the muscles that's happening throughout the day. So it's really important that we're constantly supplying our body with good quality amino acids to help protect, repair, and rebuild our muscles throughout the day. We know we've established that having good quality protein throughout the day is really, really important. But the problem is on the go, it can be kind of a challenge. If you're running around, you're a busy parent, you're taking kids from here to there, you're working all day long, sometimes getting that high quality protein on the go can be tough. But Herbalife Nutrition just introduced the Herbalife 24 Achieve Bar, which is a great solution to this problem. So the Achieve Bar has 20 grams of high quality whey and dairy protein. It's high in fiber. It's gonna really help you accomplish all of those goals that we just talked about. All right, so we have established that protein is important for everybody, but let's take a second and talk about carbohydrates. So like I mentioned at the beginning, there is this fear of carbohydrates, but we have all these different categories of food, right? So we've got whole grains, we have fruits and vegetables, we have dairy. These are all good quality sources of carbohydrates that are gonna help your body with the nutrients that it needs on a daily basis. It's really that small sliver, those processed foods, those candies, those sugary drinks, that's where we get into trouble with carbohydrates, and that's why carbohydrates really kind of have a bad name about gaining weight and those sorts of issues. But if you're eating good sources of carbohydrates, like from whole grains, from fruits and vegetables, it's really what your body needs, because our body runs on carbohydrates. Our brain is fueled by glucose, which is from carbohydrates. So if we don't eat adequate carbohydrates per day, it's gonna be a lot harder for your body to function at an optimal level. So carbohydrates are fuel. We're gonna talk a lot about that during workout nutrition section. If they have good fiber, they're gonna help you feel full, and they actually are gonna give you a variety of different types of phytonutrients. So when you look at plants and fruits and vegetables, what I think is really cool is the different colors actually represent different types of nutrients. So like we said at the beginning, you want a variety of colors on your plate because then you know your body's getting the different nutrients that it needs. So protein, super important. Carbohydrates, we need it. As long as we're getting it from the right source, it's what your body needs to help fuel you. But let's go back to this idea about balance. So we started off saying that we've got to have balance within everything, right? So balancing physical activity and nutrition. And what you can see is an image of kind of a typical American meal, right? A meal that you might see someone drive through a restaurant, maybe get out of a window, and we just take this on the go, right? But the reality is just for one meal like that, to burn the calories from that meal, you have to run for about 2 hours. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't really want to have to exercise just to undo what I just ate. And so when we talk about sports nutrition, it's really this idea of balance. It's about understanding what you're putting into your body versus the energy that you're expending through exercise. So, we talk a lot, we hear the word sports nutrition, and I think people shut off and think, I'm not an elite athlete. It's not for me. But again, another thing to challenge you guys with is to think differently about who an athlete really is, right? Because you might not be Ronaldo, you might not be an Olympian, but if you're stressing your body at all, if your heart rate's getting up, if you're sweating on the inside, you still need carbohydrates for the same reasons, you still need protein for the same reasons. And so if you're active and you're exercising, you need to follow those principles of sports nutrition. It's really basic. It really is just based on the fundamentals and the foundation of the good nutrition that we just talked about, but it's about taking those qualities of nutrition and consuming them at the right time. So hopefully this section gave you a good foundation and understanding of what a protein is, what a carbohydrate is. As we move forward and we start talking about a little bit more sports nutrition, we're going to structure this training about what your body needs before you work out, what you need during, and what you need after a workout. So I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next section.